Hello, my name is Michael Garrick, and this is PoppinCulture. My guest today is comedian Sami, very funny comedian out of Columbia, South Carolina. If you get a chance to go see him, please go see him. He puts on a great show. Very funny brother. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Hey man, thank you, Mike, for having me, brother. So glad to be here, man.
Cool, cool, man. The
Yes, sir.
topic you chose was stand-up comedy and how it's influenced pop culture. But before we get into the topic, whenever I have comedians
Yeah.
on, I like to ask. A lot of people like to focus on bombing, but I'm more interested in killing. So, when was the first time you killed, and how did it feel?
So the first time I felt like I killed was actually here locally in South Carolina at the Art Bar, and it went pretty bad. You know what I'm saying? Because I killed the crowd, but ended up dropping the mic and did not know that was an unspoken rule. And so I actually got banned, for about a month, and so it was good, but it was bad too. And I definitely learned a lesson there, and I think that's what life's all about too. At the end of the day, no matter what you're doing, if you in our field of work, which is doing stand up, or hell, if you stack shelves at Food Lion, which there ain't nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? If you drop that bag of chips or something like that, you're gonna have repercussions and consequences. So
True,
yeah.
true, true,
Yeah.
uh, true. So, has anything you done before compared to that feeling?
Uh Not in the secular world, in the church arena, yeah. Like when I was younger and doing comedy in the church, I had something like that. It was older folks. It was a very older crowd, like all the church mothers and deacons, stuff like that. And got a very good response there too. I think it was like a standing ovation, if you want to call it that. Got up and clapped. So that was pretty cool.
Nice, man. I like that
Yeah,
answer. That's cool, man. I know you're deeply you grew up deeply in the church, so that's good.
I
That's
I
one of the best.
definitely did.
That's one of the best answers I got. I mean, you said most of the time people just say sex, so that's good.
That's crazy that you say sex like that because I had heard from a comic. He was just like, when a comic is struggling or feeling like they about to bomb because they'll go straight to like the sex jokes. And I was like, I've never really told sex jokes.
Yeah,
So
yeah, that's true. When you're
yeah,
bombing, you go to the first thing you be like, what does everybody agree with? Sex. Let's
sex,
go to that. Yeah.
right?
Um, do you feel like performing at church made it easier for you to perform in front of other people outside of church arenas?
I wouldn't say that it made it any easier. I can say that coming out of the church and going into the secular world, I have more freedom with my mouth.
Okay.
And if you watch any of my comedy now, which I know you have, you hear a lot of cussing, and it was one of my mentors who was like, I could just tell. You use cussing because it's been a taboo thing for you. And I was like, what do you mean by that? He was just like, because all growing up, he knew my parents and everything. So all growing up, you couldn't curse. You was in church, you couldn't curse. So now that you older and you out here doing stand up in the secular world, you just let them fly. You know what I'm saying? And so I was just like, yeah, you got a point. So I think that was the biggest thing is just having more freedom with what I could say. You know what I'm saying? And using a little bit of cursing language to kind of just add emphasis to what it is you're talking about.
Nice, nice. Well, like I
Hmm.
said, guys, please, if he's in your city, definitely check him out. Very funny, brother. We're gonna discuss stand up, and how it's influenced pop culture. For you, do you have like comedians you look up to or have influenced you?
Yeah, I definitely do, man. I have my top three, and you know, my top three. I mean, it's probably everybody's top three. My first and favorite comedian of all time is Red Fox, and then from there we go to Richard Pryor, and then to Eddie Murphy. And yeah, those are my top three. And of course, you got Cat Williams, who's also on my list. You also have Chris Rock, who's also on my list, as well as Dave Chappelle, too. And the list just goes on and on. But I normally just give people those top three because I feel like those top three are people who influenced me the most. I remember listening to my first comedy album, which was Richard Pryor live on Sunset Strip, and it was on an actual vinyl record. I remember being about maybe 7 years old listening to that at my grandparents' house because my grandparents had the vinyl record. And, my dad was like, "You ever heard this?" And I was like, "Nah." So we put it on and we had a good time listening to that.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice, cool. When it comes to Red Fox stand up, uh, knowing that you're a comedian now, do you appreciate the one-liners even more now?
Yes, I do. I do because they're quick, and if you can grasp that type of element and really be good with it like he was, then you would see, like, I mean, man, it's a magical thing that you could just say something so fast and everybody gets it and they laugh, and it's a good pivoting point, in your set to take you, to somewhere else.
I mean, not only that, man. Imagine he had to do like hours, and
Yeah.
one-liners aren't a long story. Like one liner can
Hmm.
be like 15 seconds, and now we need to tell another joke, and that
Hmm.
hour worth of time. That one liner, that's a lot of one-liners.
Yeah, it is. It does get a little tough too. Yeah. Like, so, imagine what type of, creativity space he had to be in to have so many of those, to just keep throwing out, at the crowd and actually having them laughing and
And
really
remember
rolling
them.
too. Yeah, and remember them, you know what I'm saying? Like that's amazing.
Yeah, that's why I put him in top tier because I can remember a story well, but 100 one-liners, remember every punchline and every setup. That takes skill, man.
Definitely.
You said Eddie Murphy.
Yes.
Um, Eddie Murphy is just, he's amazing.
Mhm.
How this is how good Eddie Murphy was. How long was Eddie Murphy's stand-up career?
Man, he started what in what was that? The 70s, I thought he started. Maybe I might be wrong. It could have been the 80s. Might be in the 80s. But I mean, dude, I mean now that's like over 40 years, close to 40 years.
I want to say he did stand-up strongly for just 6 years.
Oh, just talking about his stand up. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
like
yeah, 6 years.
that's a strong career when like you get in people top fives and like you look at the like how long did he do stand up? Like 6 years. But like that is amazing, man. Like
That's
that's
awesome.
how you know he was bringing heat when it's just like I don't need to do this anymore. I got movies.
Right. Yeah, it just switched over to Hollywood, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? And just I mean, just went off in that, man, doing the movies. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Yeah, so yeah,
If he
that's
came back,
amazing.
if he came back, do you think he would come back on fire, or do you think it'd be a very slow process?
Uh if Eddie was to come back right now, I wouldn't want to say that he would just immediately be on fire because we have to keep in mind the times has changed, and he would definitely consider what type of language and what he want to talk about because we are being conscious of everyone's feelings. But I think it wouldn't take him too long to get back on fire. I definitely think it would be like hitting, doing 3 shows, 3 different cities, catch that vibe, and then from there, man, he's taking us back to Delirious. You know what I'm saying? But with a new spin and a new flavor, but it's still him, not changing who he is.
Oh no, yeah, he wouldn't
Yeah.
change. Yeah,
Oh
I
yeah.
can't imagine him being like, oh, I can't say this. Okay,
Right.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? And honestly, that's how I feel now, with mine. Like it's just like, sometimes when you feel like people don't want you to say this or that, it was like a whole like diagnostics that I came up with it. I was like, I feel like that's the job of us to say what most won't say. You know what I'm saying? And when I say most, I'm talking about, just the majority people that's in society. That's why you come and pay your favorite stand-up comic, is because I'm glad that you're gonna take the mouthpiece and say this. No matter how much I want to say it, I know at my 9 to 5 job at Kinko's, I can't say what the fuck you say. You know what I'm saying? And so,
yeah.
that's why our occupation exists, because some people want to step out of that society realm. If it ain't nothing but an hour and 45 minutes, you going out to the comedy house or whatever, you want to step outside of that realm just to hear what you wouldn't normally hear at your 9 to 5. So
Exactly, exactly.
yeah.
Uh, Yeah, I like the way you put that. That's well put.
Yes, sir.
I I can't lie, man. I don't feel like I say anything that's that's can be controversial, but like
Hmm.
I do believe there is a spot for that in comedy, and if you can make it funny, I believe everyone would laugh. It's the people that say it and like you could tell they're just trying to be edgy, and that's the part where it's kind of
Yeah,
like
right.
it's like, come on, buddy, you gotta put this punchline. You're preaching now, you know?
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Yeah, yeah. You definitely have to remember that because if
Yeah,
you don't, like you said, if you don't end up making it funny or hitting them with some type of jab that's going to tickle the funny bone, then you've already left out of the arena that you're in, which is comedy. So it's like make it funny somehow. I don't care if it's dead last, which that's where the punchline comes. It's like, as long as whenever you done with your semi preaching, make that shit funny, man. You know what I'm saying? Make that
yeah,
shit funny. So
yeah.
yeah.
Uh, any heckling stories?
Heckling? No, I haven't been heckled yet.
You're a
Um
scary person to heckle, man. I can only imagine what you would say to somebody.
I tell them shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I get.
You know what I'm saying? Like just straight up. But at the same time, I feel like sometimes heckling could be good for you. It's like another training exercise. It's making you quick on your feet. And so even though it hasn't happened to me yet, you know what I'm saying? And I can't say that I've practiced anything. I think that's something you shouldn't practice, but it's something that you should always be leery of. So if it does happen, you know how to kind of just jump in your bag real quick. And like I said, if all else failed, just tell them to shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I'm saying?
Luckily, I haven't been heckled yet, but I've had people talk in the crowd. And luckily, it's just like, okay, if you want to be part of the show, I'm going to have this conversation, then I'll cut it off. But yeah,
Right.
luckily, I haven't been heckled yet. You're one of the few people that can sing, and you have a beautiful voice. Just letting you
Oh,
know,
appreciate that, brother.
no problem. When it comes to comedy, and I'm not, don't spoil any of your jokes, please don't. But when it comes to
Yeah.
comedy, and when you sing on stage, uh, is it one of those things where like you feel comfortable now, or is it one of those things like, well, I guess since I can sing, let me add that to my stand up?
Yeah, well, I came in the game singing with it, just simply because I knew it was like another talent that I had. And so it was that joke, where I sing to the ladies pretty much and just tell them, if I wasn't doing stand-up, that's what I'd be doing. And it was just a cool thing because it was just like, that is another talent to incorporate into the stand-up comedy. And it's just like, well, just so happened real life I really could sing. Like and that's all shout out to my late father, man. My father, like really my father's the one, who got me involved with comedy and as well as the singing. My dad back in the 90s, that's what he wanted to do. He wanted to be one of them R&B singers. He had a group and all, used to sell out Finley Park or, and stuff like that. And so, I mean, they really used to sing. And that's something I grew up listening to and just hearing. And, so that just became a part of me and even sung in the church too. So,
Okay,
choir,
nice.
yeah, and singing on the praise team. So, yeah, man,
Yeah,
that's
I didn't even
just
think
that's
of
just a
that.
part
Sorry
of me.
about that. Yeah,
Yep.
I didn't
No,
even
no,
think
it's
it.
cool, man.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
didn't.
it's just a part.
Yeah, this ain't nothing new for you. Yeah, you've been singing. Yeah.
Yeah, singing for a while. Even got a couple records, man, that I can't even release to the world right now yet. Just because I don't own them. Like, I don't
Oh,
own the
okay. I
music.
got you. I
So I
got you.
mean, but if you're a friend of mine, you're a friend of mine and you've hung around, then you definitely probably heard a few of my songs. Whether you like it, you don't like it, you could just say, yeah, I heard the music. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
okay. Is it? I know you
Yeah.
don't own it, so I would hate to like
Mm.
give it more attention. But let's say
Yeah.
somebody wanted to find it. Is it on like Spotify or something like that?
No, it's nowhere. Like I
Okay.
own all the lyrics to it. Like every lyric that I sing, I've written. It's just the production of the music. I haven't owned it. And so I mean, I did just actually recently get a tip from somebody who's in the music industry that was like, oh, you could put it out there, just don't receive any proceeds from it. Because that's where the lawsuits start to come into play is,
Hmm.
if you start to take money because, it's out on a platform. So
Okay.
so maybe I will put it out here soon. Just
Hey
probably
man.
drop it on my Instagram or something like that. I don't know.
Hey man, no, hey, you never know what makes you pop, man. I say put it out there. I mean, you can't make money, but you'd be
Yeah,
surprised what one free thing can help you make money in the future.
for sure, for sure. Yeah, for sure, man.
How do you how do you feel about main rooms in okay, let me reword it. How do you feel
Okay.
about people saying a black room is a black room because there's a bunch of black people in there, but main room is mostly called a main room and it's mostly just white people? Do you feel like that's
Hmm.
something that has to be like beaten down, or do you think that would just stay the same way forever?
Man, Man, I feel like that's something that whether we believe it or not, because there's been so much propaganda over the years, it's something that you just naturally do. You walk into a room, like you said, and it's majority black folks. First thing you're gonna say, "Oh man, it's a black room right here. It's full of black people." And then when you, like you said, on the flip side, you go into a room and there's majority white people. That's what you're going. You just normally say main, like that. That's an equivalent to them. And like I said, I just feel like that's all propaganda, man. It's like it takes us to start expanding our minds and really understanding the history of what we're living in. And I feel like once you understand that, of course, you still gonna have others around you that's not gonna think the same way you think. But it reminds me of that old saying that it starts with one person. If one person change and then you change and go out and share what you found out, then you could possibly change another mind. And then there's two people, and then that person go out, and it becomes a trickle down effect. But we have to first just wake up and realize, like, hey, man, this is a lot of propaganda because, I mean, hey, that's just the way it's been for centuries. Not even years, for centuries. It's
Yeah,
been like that. You know what
true.
I'm saying? So yeah,
Yeah. How do you feel about women in comedy? I feel like they're getting more representation, in my opinion. But
yeah.
how do you feel about them?
Oh, I love them. I love them, man. I want to see so many more women just come into this arena, man. Because I'm gonna tell you, man, it ain't nothing like a woman's touch. You know what I'm saying? And I know you heard that. So I mean, I just hope so many more women just come into it and do it. Because if you look back in the past, like going back to like the 70s and the 80s, there were a few women comics then, what I'm saying, who are really, really doing their thing. And I don't know why I can't remember the lady's name right now. I'm gonna just end up calling her Esther from off of Sanford and Son because I don't remember her real name. But man, when I tell you a funny lady, and she did stand up, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that, man. I just actually got a call, so I don't know if it took me
Nah,
off or what.
nah, it's fine.
Yeah.
It just came up S. It's fine. But yeah,
Okay.
okay, cool. Do you have any favorite female comedians besides her?
Uh, hmm. I might have to say Barbaracarlo. She's new on my list because I actually got to see her do her thing in
She's super
person, and
nice,
man,
man.
she's super nice and she is a funny lady. Like you know what I'm saying, and I was blown away. Like
Cool.
and
Next
you know
time she
how it
come
is.
in town, man, just make sure you come out. I'll make sure I introduce you. I can't promise you have a conversation, but I'll introduce you.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Yes.
That'll be great. Like, well, I've actually met her before, so
Nice.
yeah, I've met her, and yeah, just a phenomenal lady, man,
Yeah,
and
man.
she's great, and so yeah, great lady. But either way, if you do have her come, still just let me know, man, because anywhere she's at, I would definitely like to be there
Oh yeah,
if I
super nice
can.
lady, bro.
Yeah.
She's super nice. Um,
Hmm.
so now we're gonna talk about stand up switching to other ventures.
Okay.
We just talked about Eddie Murphy with movies, but it's a lot of
Hmm.
comedians that jump into that field of acting. Um, do you feel like once they move to acting, their stand up starts to get worse, or do you think most comedians keep that same level of stand up?
I feel like in a general sense, I wouldn't want to say that, they get worse. I feel like in a way you kind of just because shooting a movie is a tough process, you know what I'm saying? I've never shot one, but I've been a part of a small production and just doing that, it was pretty tough. So I could see where you would lose the time to really just sit down and get on your creative wave in that aspect. So I wouldn't want to say that they would suck, but you would tell that man, your stand up kind of took a dive, like where you would have us, laughing majority of the time. You only got us laughing half of the time now. So, I think that's something that you have to be mindful of though too. And I feel like, for me, that's why I feel every day, man, I just stay trying to write, whether it's a good joke, bad joke. It's like I just try to write. And even if I never end up saying these jokes, you just know for a fact that you'll have them. And so that way, if there ever do come a time where you double book, where you want to do stand up and you want to shoot a movie, I got a palette of jokes here that I could go back and refer my mind to and bring it out and just see what happens, because everything's subjective, so some people might say, oh, you killed it, and then some people might say, oh, you wasn't as funny as what you used to be. So
Oh yeah, it's definitely subjective. It's some
yeah.
comedians I love, and people are like he's not funny, and there's comedians that people truly love, and I'd be like, I see why you like them, but it's just
Right.
I like for me it's like I see why people like Seinfeld. I see it, but
Hmm.
it's just not. I just haven't laughed. Like I see, like I
Yeah.
understand how this is funny, but my brain is like I
Yeah.
don't.
Well, I like him. Yeah, I like him. And I think Seinfeld, he's just a very cool intellectual type of comedian. And so, I think, like, when he does his bits, I just feel like, he is gonna require a little bit more brain power out of you sometimes. But at the end of the day, you like you said, there is that core group of people that he have that, I mean, dude, he could just say, I don't know, whatever, and they just gonna laugh. Which, I mean, there's nothing bad with having folk like that. I hope to have people like
Yeah, me
that be
too.
like,
Yeah,
I'm gonna just laugh at his ass because he is who he is. Yeah,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah, the best advice I ever got was a comedian named K Dub. He said, if you can get 26 clubs to book you twice a year, you got it.
yeah, yeah. And I know that I'm familiar with that comedian. I actually just saw some of his stuff. He's a funny guy too. Yeah, Kelly K
Super,
Dub. Yep.
super nice guy, bro. Been doing it forever.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, word.
and now to move over to comedians that have done like albums, like music albums. Of course, I
Mm-hmm.
would say Jamie Foxx is definitely top tier when it comes to that. But
Right.
besides him, do you have any other comedians that have put out music that you enjoyed?
I haven't had any, like, I mean, besides Jamie Foxx, I haven't known any to go and really do any singing or anything like that and put
Oh,
out
you haven't
records.
heard?
So
Okay, you haven't heard
mm-mm.
Eddie Murphy's reggae album?
Well, yeah, I heard that, and I remember he did do "Party All the Time." No, and that's no knock to his album. You know what I'm saying?
No, I saw
Because
your face. You just like, yeah, yeah, I
yeah,
heard it.
like,
Yeah.
what I'm saying. I heard it, but that really, I mean, I'll tell you this: the music on his album was outstanding. You know what I'm saying? But the the him singing some of the stuff that kind of just didn't resonate with me. But Party All the Time was definitely a hit, and that song still rides today somewhere out in Beverly Hills. I guarantee you there's somebody beside their pool with a mountain of coke and a martini, and Eddie Murphy is on that goddamn radio singing, my girl likes to party all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
that's never gonna die. You
Yes.
know what I mean? That, yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't say people need to do drugs, but that is one song that if it's, I ever imagine people doing Molly to, is that like that. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I feel like he created it for that reason. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So
Yeah. For real.
yeah, for
Um,
real.
the only other artist I can think of is and it's nothing taken serious, but was Kevin Hart with Chocolate Dropper. He did that for a little while. But
Oh
yeah,
yeah, I forgot about that. I forgot about, actually, I really forgot about that because that came out with like '09 or something like that.
something like that. I just remember Trey Songz. He had a good bit of people that worked with him.
Mm. Yeah, okay, yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And
Um,
he had one with T-Pain too, right? Or was that
yep.
that same song?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but
Okay.
a few people ventured into it.
Yeah.
Um, when it comes to comedians from other countries, um, for me, it's really hard to get into their humor. Just it's not really
Hmm.
the accent; it's just what they talk about. Is really hard for me to grasp growing up in America. What their like their jokes, their punchlines are just, and their timing is just way different. Do you
Hmm.
find that you have the same difficulty, or do you like comedians from other countries?
I mean, I think I have that same difficulty, but I still do give them a chance. Like whenever, somebody from out of the country comes across my radar or just recommended to me, I still just give them a chance. But I understand what you're saying because it's like a different, just a different type of vibe, outside of what we're used to in the US, but still respect it,
Oh
because
yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, they just get up and do their own thing. But I definitely, do have the difficulty sometimes understanding or just staying with the joke. Yeah, I would agree.
Oh yeah, they definitely be killing. Like I'll be looking and be like, yeah, this audience
Yeah,
enjoys what you're saying. Yeah.
yeah. They love it. Like, you know what I'm saying? They really do.
Oh. So if you had to say, what do you think stand-up comedy, has influenced pop culture the most? Like what part?
Oh, what part of stand-up comedy? Uh, I would say being more creative, man. Like what we saw when we were just talking about, me incorporating singing, how Jamie Foxx incorporated his singing and playing the piano. Like and as well as, now having like hip hop stars, rap stars come and actually open up for comedians or comedians going over to open up for a rap artist. You know what I'm saying? I feel like, we're shaking hands, our two different wavelengths are now starting to shake hands. And I mean, they're blending beautifully. You know what I'm saying? To have a rap artist come and open up for a comic and, get the people on their feet, rejuvenate them, and then, you come out as a comic and do your thing and have them laughing. Or, vice versa, comic have them laughing, and then the rapper comes out and, getting everybody up on their feet and just, taking them into party time, at that point. So I think, they're working really well hand in hand together now, which I
Nice.
saw that coming, man. I always saw that coming. Like, because even if you look at what, I can't remember the Richard Pryor special it was, but he had Patti LaBelle end up coming up and she sung, and he
Sunset
came
Strip.
out and did his thing. So that was on Sunset Strip.
Yeah,
Okay, so
in the
yeah.
beginning of Sunset Strip, it's like they I guess they didn't have enough film for Glad for
Mhm.
her part.
Okay, yeah.
So,
So yeah, yeah.
and
And was it
also
Gladys Knight or was it Patty?
I want to say Patty.
Okay, so it was Patty. Okay, yeah, Patty. All
Yeah,
right.
I want to say Patty. Also, TK Kirkland used to open up for NWA.
Wow, I never knew that.
Mhm.
Wow, I never knew
He
that.
yeah,
That's
he
pretty
said
dope.
he said they used to go to jail a lot.
Yeah, but I guarantee you they never stayed no longer than a
No,
night.
no, no.
If
They
that
were
long. That's the longest. Nigga, we
yeah,
in and out.
yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
They
Somebody
treat
call Chauncey.
yeah
Yeah,
they treated it like hotels. Like all right, we got to check
yeah,
out by
for real.
11. Yeah.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, you better not hold me not a moment longer, because if you do, I'm suing the goddamn state.
Yes. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Definitely. Definitely.
for real.
I don't think I asked, and I apologize. What got you into stand-up comedy?
What got me into stand-up comedy? Getting in trouble in school.
Okay.
Because always being the class clown, my father ended up saying, you need to put this talent to use, and you need to do something. And stand up is the wave. I've already showed you comics and comedians and all these types of things. And if that's what you like to do, you need to get out here and you need to do it. And so, shout out to my dad for telling me that, and then shout out to my grandfather for actually giving me like my first gig. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it worked out, and here I am still doing it. You know what I'm saying? I did take a sabbatical for a while, with not performing or, anything, just because of life issues or whatever like that. But, yeah, it was definitely my dad who influenced me, which, I got a story about that for when we talk about the movie.
Okay.
You know what I'm
Nice.
saying? Yeah, yeah.
Nice. 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 Good to hear, man.
Yes.
Was there anything else you'd like to add on how stand-up has influenced pop culture?
Um, I mean, no, I think that's pretty much it. I think one more thing I wanted to say about stand up, like, which you can attest to this, because I say this every time there's like a group of us comedians around. I try to make it a point. is never stop being yourself and always say what you feel like you want to say, as long as you're not coming off blatantly disrespectful, which I know that's what you was telling me when we had that conversation last time. But it's like, definitely say what you want to say, because it goes back to that point of, people step out of society into our area, our arenas, just to come and hear that unfiltered, that just shooting it to you straight, or just giving our perspective. That's what they come to hear. So I definitely try to tell people, just say what you want to say.
Yeah.
And but at the same time, don't be afraid of the consequences that may come with it, which is that cancel culture, which I still don't understand that to this day. You know what I mean? I don't understand cancel culture at all, but I know it's a real thing. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
It's like I don't understand it either. But I think Cat, out of anybody, you wouldn't think Cat Williams, but I think he said it like perfectly. He was like, "We have speed limits for a reason."
Yeah. Well, you do, but that's like to save your life. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what the speed limit's for. You know what I'm saying? To save your life. Because I did hear him make that type of comparison, but this was my counter react to that. And this is the question I would ask Kat is like, because if we know at the end of the day, all things are subjective, how can we cancel somebody when the amount of people that want to cancel you is 1,000, but the amount of people that rock with you and love you and buy your merch and watch what you do and come to your shows is 2,000. What gives the 1,000 the right to say that, hey, we want to cancel this person? You know what I'm saying? I just feel like that doesn't really add up to me. Like, and it makes me feel like, we're forgetting the fact that it's subjective. Because you don't rock with it, that's fine. That's your opinion, that's your choice. And if you find 500 other people that don't rock with it, cool, y'all can make a group, come together and say, oh, we don't like this, and that's fine. But it's like, don't try to say, we got to just cancel this person and do away with them, because I feel like that's not fair, especially if this is a mean and tool that somebody used to feed themselves, feed their family. That, like, it's have your opinion and leave it at that. You know what I'm saying? And don't support it if that's what you choose to do. you know
Yeah. I think
yeah,
Steve Harvey said it best. He was like, "If you do not like my radio show, it's a bunch of other channels."
man, yeah. And then, even like, I feel like Red Fox said it way back then too. Like, he said, you seen that sign that was outside of the show before you came in here? It said a triple X rated show. You know what I'm saying? So you kind of know what you're getting into when you come in. So it's like, if you see that, and that's something that don't agree with who you are as a person or your spirit or whatever people want to call it, then stay away from that. You know what I'm saying? And leave it at that. So, and choose whatever you like.
True, true. Well, man, thank you
Yeah.
so much for coming on to the podcast. Is there anything you'd like to say to your fans? And please tell them where they can follow you.
Yeah. So thank you for having me again. And they can follow me at Stand Up Sammy. That's stand up spelled the regular way, and then it's SAMI3.
All right. That's
We
on
didn't even get to
everything.
talk about Harlem Nights.
We
Yeah,
are,
that's
we
on
are
everything.
we do. I do it two separate parts, so we're gonna do it.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, okay. Well, did I need to redo that then, Mike?
No, no, it's fine, bro.
My bad.
It's fine.
Okay,
It's fine.
okay.
Yeah, it's just way easier to edit in two separate recordings.
Oh
But
yeah,
yeah,
sure.
so they can follow you on everything on that one at.
Well, mainly on Instagram, because that's just what I'm on right now. But Twitter may be coming in the future, and it will be at Stand Up Sammy too as well.
Okay, cool, cool, cool.
Yeah.
Like I said, guys, if he's in your city, please check him out. And thank you
Hey,
guys for listening and have an amazing day.